our session. I know that it's quite late, but we will try to progress quickly. The World Health Assembly will resume agenda item 9, reports of the main committees. We will consider the 7th report of Committee A, which was read and adopted at Committee A just now. It contains a resolution entitled Global Health Sector Strategies on respectively HIV, viral hepatitis, and sexually transmitted infections. Can the World Health Assembly adopt this amended resolution? I see no objections. The resolution is now adopted, and therefore the 7th report of Committee A is now approved and adopted. We will now move to the consideration of our last agenda item, the closure of the Assembly. I invite Dr. Hiroki Nakatani of Japan, Chairman of Committee A, to come to the rostrum and address the World Health Assembly in order to give us an overview of the work of Committee A. Dr. Hiroki, you have the floor.
Mr. President, Excellencies, distinguished delegates, Dr. Tedros, ladies and gentlemen, it is with great pleasure that I present this report on the work of Committee A during the 75th World Health Assembly. We had a very busy and diverse agenda full of intense and rich discussions. Committee A discussed the division of the program budget for 2022-23, the extension of the 13th General Program work 2019 to 2023 to 2025, and the long list of strategic priority matters and other health and technical issues. We also recognize the landmark achievements of the two working groups, the Working Group on Sustainable Financing and the Working Group on Strengthening WHO Preparedness and Response to Health Emergencies. This was our first meeting in person after nearly 2 years of virtual communication. We noted the joy and happiness at seeing each other again. Working in a face-to-face environment meant an increased number of interventions and at the same time a higher volume of key documents. To manage the workload while making our journey as smooth and fast as in the Japanese high-speed train, we accelerated communication speed, managed time using a traffic light system during the debates, not only closing the long list of speakers, but actually locking it, like the train doors. All the while, accommodating late arrivals, parachuting on the trains at later stations. All the train ride was sometimes bumpy, but to be arrived at the destination finally. It has been a pleasure to witness the committed engagement as we broke a record with a number of interventions exceeding 70 per some sub-items, almost 600 statements with pre-recorded videos altogether. We managed to make the agenda to the final destination and set our road to the future. Committee A approved 10 resolutions and 3 decisions, summaries of which have been conveyed to you all in the previous reports. Working hard in union and solidarity, we are able to resolve our matters peacefully with a spirit of understanding. Mr. President, Excellencies, distinguished delegates, Director General, and the staff of WHO, it has been an honor and a privilege to serve as chair of Committee A. I wish to thank you for electing me to this role and for the trust you put in me as chair. I would also like to thank my vice chairs, Dr. Tamar Gubnina from Georgia and Dr. Mariam Abdul Richards from Trinidad and Tobago, as well as our rapporteur, Dr. Walampon from Thailand, for their invaluable support. Of course, Committee A's work would not have been possible without dedicated and professionalism of its secretariat. I would like to further thank Dr. Carmen Dola and Mr. Ian Roberts, co-secretaries of Committee A, and their team for the hard work and patience in facilitating smooth running of our committee. I thank you, Mr. President, for your leadership of this assembly. I also commend the Vice President and rapporteurs for their efforts in making the 75th World Health Assembly a successful one. To the Director General, Dr. Tedros, I extend my appreciation for his contribution to our deliberation and my wishes for many productive years ahead for the organization. Mr. President, Excellencies, distinguished delegates, Dr. Tedros, ladies and gentlemen, I wish each of you good health and a safe journey return to your home and families. I thank you.
Je vous remercie.
Thank you, Dr. Nakatani. I would like to congratulate you very warmly for your excellent presentation and also for the outstanding way in which you presided over the committee. Everything you said was right. It was quite difficult indeed. And many people, just like me, who like to do sport, we didn't see the match between Liverpool and Manchester tonight and Real Madrid. So I do apologize to all those who have missed the match, but I think it's for a good cause. It's 0-0 for the time being. We haven't lost anything. Now, in the absence of Mr. Rajesh Bhushan of India, the chairman of Committee B, I shall now invite the Secretary of Committee B to come to the rostrum and report on the work of Committee B. Madam, you have the floor.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I will read out the remarks that our chair, Mr. Rajesh Bhushan from India, prepared. Mr. President, distinguished delegates, Director General, ladies and gentlemen, good afternoon, actually good evening. On behalf of Vice Chairs Dr. Firas Abiad from Lebanon and Dr. Osagi Echenire from Nigeria, Rapporteur Dr. Gregor Juszczyk from Poland, I have the honor to present the report of the Committee B. The Committee B considered and approved 15 decisions and 8 resolutions contained in the reports that you already adopted. We first started our work with a set of decisions which will allow for the smooth running of our organization under the financial audit, staffing and management matters. We want to thank the work of the Executive Board and the Programme Budget and Administration Committee for allowing such smooth deliberation on these items. We also addressed our traditional decision on the health conditions in the occupied Palestinian territory, including East Jerusalem and in the occupied Syrian Golan, through a roll call voting. However, we are also learning new things, a wide range of important areas across all 3 pillars of the 13 Global Programme of Work. These include the human resources for health, a historical resolution on the outcome of the Small Island Developing State Summit for Health, the resolution on Global Health for Peace Initiative, and the decision on standardization of the medical devices nomenclature, which was also adopted. These resolutions will have long-lasting impact on global health beyond the theme of this Assembly. So we want to thank Committee A for having such faith in us and entrusting us with this work. On behalf of the Committee B, I would like to thank all the delegates from Member States for their commitment, willingness to reach consensus and discipline while moving between the items and transferring the items between 2 committees. I thank you, Mr. President, for your most able leadership, guidance and support in helping to make this a productive, successful Assembly. And to you, Director General, I would like to extend our warm congratulations for your next term in office and thanks for your personal engagement and support for our work at this Assembly, especially with the resumption of in-person meetings at the Palais des Nations, which everyone has been looking forward to, and I'm sure very much enjoyed. Finally, I would like to thank my friends in the Committee B Secretariat, whose professionalism, diligent work, and consistent assistance with expertise during this session have enabled us to efficiently accomplish our work through these days. As we have come to the end of the 75th World Health Assembly, it is time for us to jointly translate the decisions we made together here into actions back in our countries. Mr. President, and ladies and gentlemen, all is left of me to say a big thank you and bid everyone farewell as we journey back to our homes and families. It has been an absolute honor and privilege to serve in this capacity. Thank you.
I wish to thank you, Madam, for your comprehensive report and express my appreciation to the Chair of Committee B for his leadership and the contribution to the work of the committee. Thank you very much, Madam. Now that the main committees have completed their work, including consideration of the Executive Board's reports, we are in a position to formally take note of these reports. I would like to commend the work on the board on the work performed and express our appreciation of the dedication with which it has carried out the tasks entrusted to it. Is the Assembly ready to take note of these reports? I see no objection. It is so decided. I will now give the floor to the Director General of the World Health Organization, Dr. Tedros, to make a few closing remarks. Dr. Tedros, you have the floor.
Thank you, Your Excellency. Your Excellency Ahmed Roble Abdillah, Excellencies, dear colleagues and friends. First, I would like to thank you, Your Excellency, for your leadership as President over the past week. My thanks also to the chairs of Committee A and B, Dr. Hiroki Nakatani and Mr. Rajesh Bhushan, and the vice chairs. I presented Mr. Bhushan with his gavel earlier, but I would now like to present Dr. Nakatani with his gavel with deep gratitude from all of us for your leadership, patience, and humor. Mine will not be short. I will say. I thank all Member States for your hard work over the past week. As always, you have dealt with a large agenda. You have adopted landmark decisions and resolutions on sustainable financing, on strengthening health emergency preparedness and response, on communicable and non-communicable diseases and mental health, on the health workforce, polio eradication and transition, medical devices, and a huge range of other issues. Of course, we had hoped you would be able to reach a consensus on adopting the global health sector strategies on HIV, viral hepatitis, and sexually transmitted infections. These strategies are needed urgently to drive progress against these diseases, which affect all Member States. Of course, consensus is preferable, but in my view, we should not be afraid of voting when needed to move ahead on pressing global health challenges. And that's what you did. And sometimes it's good to break from the tradition. Excellencies, dear colleagues and friends, when you elected me 5 years ago, it was the greatest honor of my life. I thought no honor could be greater. But this week, you gave me an even greater honor by electing me for a second term. I'm deeply grateful for and humbled by the support, trust, and confidence of Member States. I thank you. The trust and confidence you have put in me is also trust and confidence in the incredible people I'm privileged to call my colleagues. I do not have the words to express the depths of my gratitude, admiration, and respect for all our staff all over the world, in country offices, regional offices, and headquarters, especially those who work in difficult and dangerous conditions. I also wish to thank the regional directors, our headquarters leadership team, and I especially want to thank the staff in my office, the people you don't see, but without whom I could not do my job, the people who make me look good. And and finally, I thank you, our member states. This is your WHO. It's my honor and my privilege to serve you. I'm ready to get on with the work. I began the week by telling you about my experience as a child growing up in war and the lasting effects that has had on me. Today, there are kids just like me growing up all over the world in war, hunger, poverty, and the constant threat of disease. Every year, more than 5 million children either don't survive their own birth or die before their 5th birthday from pneumonia, diarrhea, malaria, and other preventable diseases. Those children are the reason we are here. They are the reason we come together to imagine a better world, a healthier world, a safer world, a fairer world. As we leave this place, as you return to your countries to implement the plans, strategies, and roadmaps you have agreed this week, those children must be our motivation as we continue to work for health for peace and peace for health. As I said when we started, peace, peace, peace. Thank you, and I wish you a safe journey home. All the very best, and thank you, Mr. President, and back to you. Thank you. And please allow me to give another gavel to our President.
Thank you very much.
Monsieur President.
Thank you. Thank you. Merci beaucoup.
Thank you very much.
Monsieur le Directeur Général.
Director General, thank you. Before closing this World Health Assembly, I would like to make a few comments. I'd like to apologize and ask you to allow me these few minutes. Director General Dr. Tedros Adhanom Ghebreyesus, ladies and gentlemen, WHO regional directors, Your Excellencies, honorable ministers, heads of delegations, friends and colleagues, ladies and gentlemen. Good evening once again. Now that the 75th World Health Assembly is drawing to a close, I would like to take this opportunity to make a few brief remarks. I have been honored to serve as your president. I am immensely grateful to our Director General, Dr. Tedros, but also to Dr. Ahmed Al-Mandari, WHO Regional Director for the Eastern Mediterranean, and to my fellow health ministers from the region for having trust in me. I'm grateful to each and every one of you for having confirmed my election and given me such tremendous support and encouragement this week. We meet at a pivotal time in the history of public health. We have endured nearly 2.5 years of the most significant pandemic in decades. Like all of you, I hope that humankind can soon fully overcome the challenges imposed on it by COVID-19. Thank you to all who have contributed to the work. I hope that the families of those lost during this pandemic can find solace. We stand with them. And I hope that together we can now begin to build our health systems back better, ready to face the myriad of current and future threats to human health. I mentioned some of those threats in my opening address last Sunday. Many others have been raised and debated over the course of the last 6.5 days. Climate change, non-communicable diseases, monkeypox, conflict and displacement, HIV, hepatitis, neglected tropical diseases, and so on and so forth. In the Horn of Africa, after 3 seasons of insufficient rain, millions face starvation. The list is long, and our time here is short. We must make our deliberations count and our presence in these meeting chambers worthwhile. We have achieved many things in our time together this week. We have re-elected Dr. Tedros to his second 5-year term as Director General. We have agreed a new path forward towards sustainable financing of WHO. Progress has been made on changes to the international health regulations and towards strengthening the global architecture for health emergency preparedness, response, and resilience. And we have engaged in long discussions linked to the theme of this assembly, health for peace, peace for health. There is no peace without health, and no health without peace. There is no social and political democracy without health democracy. We must all do more to ensure the attainment by all peoples of the highest possible level of health. All peoples, regardless of ages, genders, ethnic group, nationality, religion, citizenship, or refugee status, all. I know that you are working to ensure that this becomes a reality. I'm personally grateful to many individuals and groups for their help during this assembly. I'm thinking about my 5 vice presidents, Madam Soumiri, Professor Serbezova, Mr. Makif, Mr. Jamaluddin, Professor Mustafa, the chairs of committees, Committee A, Dr. Nakatani, and Dr. Bushan, as well as their vice chairs and rapporteurs for the excellent work during this session. I would like to thank, on my own behalf and on behalf of all member states and colleagues who are present here, I'd like to thank you for your support and the management of this assembly. I'd like to also thank our wonderful interpreters there behind the glass windows. Without you, it would be impossible to do what we are doing here.
Je vous remercie.
I thank you very, very much. You've stayed with us and worked with us. Lastly, I will not forget the technical staff who are here behind me, who work tirelessly in my shadow, and who accompany me, who accompany us, who will continue, no doubt, to accompany us throughout this year. Thank you very much to WHO staff who have worked tirelessly here in Geneva and around the world to prepare for and support this assembly. Thousands of person-hours are devoted to making the assembly happen. Many of those hours can only be invested in the last few weeks and the weeks before the assembly opens. Over the last few weeks, I have been able to see a little of what happens behind the scenes, and it is a lot. To my friends and colleagues in health ministries from all WHO member states, thank you again for your hard work and perseverance and patience. I wish you every success, wisdom, courage, and fair winds in the days ahead. Finally, to Dr. Tedros, Director General, dear friend, thank you for your leadership, your energy, and your humanity. Congratulations once again on the renewal of your term in office. Please count on the support of all the friends you have in this room and beyond. To conclude, I wish everyone safe travels home in peace and serenity. Please continue to disseminate the spirit of collaboration in peace that reigned in this assembly among you. I now formally declare the 75th World Health Assembly closed.